Hey, quick question. Who's the current foreign minister of India? This guy? Wait, but we knew that already. How about who was the foreign minister before Dr. Jaishankar? Remember her? I promise this is not a GK quiz. What I'm really trying to get at is that no other foreign minister has received as much attention, interest, and reels as Dr. Jaishankar. And foreign policy has never had such resonance domestically. Whether you realize it or not, this 2024 election has a lot of foreign policy up for vote, and several reasons play into this. One of them is Dr. Jaishankar himself, a rare bureaucrat elevated to a ministerial position. He's actually the first foreign secretary to become Minister of External Affairs. For a lot of young, ambitious Indians who really like geopolitics, a foreign affairs minister who's passed the UPSC is a fantasy come true. He's well educated, comes from pedigree, and speaks like a smart, erudite patriot. His mic drop moments are plentiful. He understands this and leverages questions really well, especially on international forums. Did I mention that Jaishankar reels are a huge thing, by the way?
You could ask, why would anybody in Asia trust Europe on anything at all? Somewhere Europe has to grow out of the mindset that Europe's problems are the world's problems. But the world's problems are not Europe's problems. I would have offered to take classes on China from Rahul Gandhi. But I discovered he was taking classes on China from the Chinese ambassador. So I asked myself, I may as well go to the original source and talk to them.
Jaishankar became Minister of External Affairs at a point when Indians started paying a lot more attention to how the world was perceiving them. Global stature was really important. In his calm, simple foreign policy 101 style, Jaishankar put forth India's points of view, defended India's decisions, and shut down critics. Oh, and also put the West in its place. This naturally led to a lot of fans.
Dr. Jaishankar, the most requested podcast. Why do you think that is?
Probably people are more interested in foreign policy
Nowadays.
Foreign policy was no longer the complex, elite discussion between diplomats and IFS folks. It had a strong muscle of nationality now, which we loved flexing to the world. The average Indian was watching foreign policy, understanding it, and also feeling like a Vishwaguru themselves. Gone were the days of stiff studio talk. The current foreign minister of India was appearing on Beer Biceps podcasts and also being edited into several Sigma style reels on numerous occasions. His personal aura is such that we don't really question dismissals of poor rankings in the Freedom of Press Index. After all, the West's own record on everything from global governance to global finance has been challenged so often these days.
Are you concerned that perceived democratic backsliding in India is going to undermine its efforts to become a rising power in the world?
No, I think it answers the question if you would be objective enough to understand. I think it says very clearly that the people who are writing these reports have a strong bias. Often they distort facts. There's an ideological agenda out there. I don't know why that's hard to understand.
Now, Mr. Jaishankar is not just the foreign policy voice of the government, he's also one of the many BJP voices in the central government. Whether you like it or not, whether you realize it or not, foreign policy is most definitely on the ballot of the 2024 elections. And many things or many statements actually point to that. Most recently, the foreign minister's rebuttal to the United Nations on free and fair elections, the UN which has faced so much global scrutiny over its own functioning. That statement actually came on the back of US and Germany speaking about the arrest of the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Or while on the campaign trail, Mr. Jaishankar released a BJP vision document in Mizoram and he defended a significant domestic and foreign policy change with Myanmar, where India has ended the Free Movement Pact. Or China, where the post-Galwan frosty relations and land grabs along the line of actual control are raised by the opposition with great frequency. but tackled by the foreign minister and the prime minister selectively. One more, technically domestic policy issue that's coming up on the campaign in Assam fairly often is the Citizenship Amendment Act, whose rules were notified just a few weeks ago. It will and has brought ties with Bangladesh into the discourse. One more, and I'm not sure if you remember that or not, but in the midst of an election campaign that was heating up, the Prime Minister and Mr. Jaishankar set off a debate over a 1974 agreement with Sri Lanka with accusations against the opposition of giving land away. It saw pushback from the opposition, some concern coming in from Colombo, and then simply vanished away. Not to forget India's presidency of the G20 last year. That was almost a year-long affair, and it went down to the cities and towns and spoke of India's standing in the world. You may also notice that often when defending India's decisions to the world, you will hear Mr. Jaishankar frame them as post-2014 achievements, sometimes even calling India's previous policies colonial. Now, many, like New Delhi's relationship with Russia or strategic neutrality, as it's often called now, are old and continuing. The foreign ministry is, of course, built on them, and that too amid two major global wars. But continuing key trade with Russia despite global sanctions and sticking to a carefully crafted position on Israel stand out. You will, though, agree that words like non-alignment are never going to be used to describe this position or this statecraft. And you know the reason for that, right? Instead, it's terms like Vishwaguru and Bharat Niti that are becoming more common and frequent, with ample references to Hindu epics like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Foreign folks, as Mr. Jaishankar says, are going to remain unimpressed. We're leaving it here. I hope you are impressed. Please do share this video with your friends and family. WhatsApp is a great place, so is Twitter. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember there is a super thanks feature where you can support us. And if you are on Instagram, please look for this icon. It is a subscribers icon. Many folks have come forward to support us for a small monthly fee, and we are ever so grateful to them.